Saan ba maganda mag-invest ngayong 2026? Yan ang pag-uusapan natin for today's video. Hello everyone! Kamusta kayo? Medyo matagal tayo hindi nakapag-upload ng mga pre-recorded videos but I'm now back and very excited to share with you new learnings this year. Pero bago tayo mag-umpisa, I hope ay nakasubscribe na kayo sa ating YouTube channel, youtube.com/readytoberichyt, and ilike nyo na rin yung aking Facebook page na facebook.com/readytoberich. And with that, let's start. For this video, ang i-discuss natin ay ang investment strategies for 2026. Saan nga ba magandang maglagay ng pera this year? Ano yung personally gagawin ko? I hope ay makatulong ito sa inyong mga investment decisions. As always, as a financial planner, meron ako mga prerequisites bago ka mag-start mag-invest. You have to do this before investing a single peso. And this, for me, is non-negotiable. I know this part is boring, but doing this will really save you a lot of regret. The first is having an emergency fund. Build your emergency fund worth 3 to 6 months of your expenses. You have to keep it liquid. Ilagay mo siya sa isang high-interest savings account or sa isang money market fund. At least it is also an investment pero low risk lang. Number 2 is to deal with your toxic debt or yung mga high-interest na utang, particularly credit cards. Credit cards and high-interest loans quietly kill returns. Kahit na ang laki-laki ng kinikita mo sa isang investment, kakainin lang siya ng interest rate sa mga utang mo. If you want to look at it at a different perspective, isipin mo na every time na nagbabayad ka ng utang, you are avoiding paying interest charges, which means you are saving money and in a way, that's your investment return. Lastly, the third prerequisite is you should protect your downside. This means having health insurance or an HMO first. Getting life insurance is also necessary, but only if you're a breadwinner or if someone is financially dependent on you. Once these three are in place, investing becomes less stressful. Your confidence and conviction increase, and you stop panicking during market swings. So ready ka na ba mag-invest? Pero teka lang, there's a very important question that you need to answer. You have to start with asking yourself, what are you investing for? Before I talk about particular investments, you have to first answer this yourself. What is the money for? Para saan yung pera? Some common financial goals that I've heard is that gagamitin yung pera para sa college education ng anak. It can be used as down payment for buying a home or as a retirement fund. Yung iba, nag-iipon ng pera, nag-i-invest kasi in the future, gagamitin nila itong business capital. Remember that every investment decision considers the time horizon. If you skip this step, even a good investment can become a bad experience. Very important talaga na malaman kung kailan mo ba gagamitin yung pera at para saan, because this will give you the proper signals kung kailan mo na ba i-redeem yung mga investments mo. Kasi isang common question din yan sa akin. Yes, nakapag-invest na sila. Ang next na tanong nila, kailan ko siya kukunin? And your financial goal will dictate that. Now let's go to the specific investments that I recommend for 2026, starting with Pag-ibig MP2. Pag-ibig MP2 is a low-risk but medium-term investment. The Modified Pag-ibig 2 program remains one of the most practical tools for Filipinos. Dividends are not guaranteed, yes, but they have historically been very competitive. Ang maganda rin sa Pag-ibig MP2, hindi siya talaga affected ng market volatility. Magbaba lang ang barrier to entry. 500 pesos, pwede ka na mag-open ng Pag-ibig MP2 account. And it works well for medium-term goals like the college education of your child or yung tuition nila or saving up for a down payment para sa bahay. Yes, it is not liquid and that is the trade-off. However, MP2 works best when you commit and let it sit. Kung naghahanap ka ng short-term investment, I would recommend retail treasury bonds. They are low risk and there are short-term and also medium-term and long-term treasury bonds. Retail treasury bonds, T-bills, and T-bonds remain solid anchors in a portfolio. Ang maganda kasi sa mga bonds, they have predictable income. Alam mo na exactly kung magkano yung makukuha mong return. They are backed by the Philippine government, So relatively safe siya and it's easier to understand than many private products. Bonds really shine when matched to goals. A bond maturing in 5 years is ideal for a known 5-year expense, for example. Simple matching reduces stress. Remember that. Siguro iniisip nyo, ang baba lang naman ng kita sa mga bonds. But if you look at the historical performance of bonds during the pandemic, kung kailan bagsak ang stock market, ang taas-taas ng kinita ng bonds. So bonds can also serve as your buffer or your risk management strategy against market volatility. Another low-risk short-term investment that I would recommend, lalo na kung may mga financial goals ka na target mo is within the year or within 2 years, put it in high-interest savings accounts and time deposits, particularly yung mga nasa digital banks. These are admittedly not wealth builders, but they are stability tools. Dialagay mo yung pera mo dito kasi ayaw mo na siyang magalaw, ayaw mo na siyang mabawasan. You can use high-interest savings and time deposits for your emergency fund, for your short-term goals, and money that you cannot afford to lose. But you have to do some due diligence. You have to compare rates, fees, and ano ba yung accessible sa'yo. Liquidity matters more than squeezing out an extra fraction of a percent. Kung mga 0.5, 0.2 lang yung difference ng interest rate pero mas accessible sa'yo yung slightly lower na interest rate na product, doon ka na lang sa mas accessible sa'yo. I know that the local stock market hasn't been really performing for the past 10 years or so. However, I still recommend it because hindi natin alam kung ano yung pwedeng mangyari in the next few years. Kasi one bull market, I'm very sure lahat ng stocks na pinili mo ay kikita. So, I still recommend to have some local stocks or perhaps equity funds in your portfolio. These are high risk but long-term investments. Direct stock investing offers growth but it demands emotional control. Yung hindi ka magpapanik kapag nakita mong bumabagsak yung mga prices. Kaya ang recommendation ko, stick to blue chip companies and defensive stocks. Blue chip companies are usually, these are the companies na nasa PSEI or nasa index, yung top 30 companies in the Philippines. And yung defensive stocks, ito yung mga stocks na nasa mga sectors na hindi affected kung maganda ba o pangit yung ekonomiya. For example, utilities, di ba? Kasi kahit na pangit ang economy, kahit na naghihirap yung mga tao, ay gagamit pa rin talaga tayo ng kuryente, ng tubig, etc. So you can do research kung ano ba yung mga defensive stocks and what sectors they belong in. Kapag nag-invest ka sa stocks, sa individual stocks, and sa mga equity funds, you have to think long-term para ito sa mga long-term goals mo like retirement. You have to avoid overtrading. Huwag buy and sell ng buy and sell. Pwede kang bumili, pag sa tingin mo ayaw mo na itong bilhin, you don't really have to sell it. You just hold it and then buy another stock or invest in another equity fund na sa tingin mo mas maganda yung potential. You don't really have to sell yung mga previous na binili mo na medyo pangit na yung performance. Unless talagang meron ng fundamental reason na hindi na siya gaganda. Lastly, you have to accept that volatility is part of the deal. Meron talagang mga taon, lalo na sa umpisa, for the first 2, 3, 4 years na red or negative yung value ng investment mo sa stocks. For most people, broad exposure through funds is easier than picking individual winners on the Philippine Stock Exchange. Kaya kung tinatamad ka mag-research ng mga individual companies, okay lang yon. Ang investment mo, ilagay mo na lang sa mga equity funds, particularly yung mga growth equity funds. However, if you're going to invest on an individual stock, personally, I would recommend choosing REITs. REITs or real estate investment trust allows you to earn rental income without being a landlord. However, because this is in the stock market, they are also high risk and long-term investments. REITs give exposure to income-generating properties without dealing with tenants or repairs. At napakalaking bagay nun dahil marami akong kilala na nagpaparenta at may mga sakit sa ulo ng mga tenants. Investing in REITs can provide you dividend income. It is mandatory that they give out dividends. So alam mo may papasok at papasok sa iyo na pera. Hindi mo nga lang alam kung magkano or ilang percent. REITs can also add diversification to your portfolio and it reacts to interest rate changes. So you have to remember those. REITs work best as part of a portfolio and not as an entire plan because I've met people na lahat ng stock holdings niya puro REITs. So don't do that also. Kailangan diversified ka. If you want to invest in real estate at wala ka pa talagang pera para bumili ng actual property, you can just buy REITs as your real estate part of your portfolio. So what are my recommended REITs? So this is my top 5. Alam ko na maraming naghihintay nito sa inyo. Actually, maraming nagtatanong sa akin, ano ba yung magandang REITs na bilhin? So this has been my recommendation ever since and fortunately, hindi pa rin siya nagbabago after so many years. So my number 1 recommendation is actually a REIT or yung Ayala Land REIT, which has offices and mixed-use properties in their portfolio. The income stability of a REIT is very high. However, the growth potential is just moderate. But the trade-off is that its risk level compared to other REITs is low. My second recommendation is RCR or yung REITs ng Robinsons Land, which invest in office spaces. The income stability is high, the growth potential is moderate, and the risk level is low to medium. The third one is yung M-REIT or yung sa Mega World. It also invests in office spaces but it has townships in its portfolio. Its income stability is high, the growth potential is moderate to high, and the risk level is medium. Fourth is yung C-REIT or yung Citicorp. This is a very unique REIT because they invest on land leases for renewables o yung renewable energy. So kung gusto mong pro-environment yung portfolio mo, you can consider investing in C-REIT o yung Citicorp REITs. Ang gusto ko sa C-REIT is that its income stability is high, the growth potential is high, and the risk level is just medium. The fifth and last REIT that you can consider is yung DDMPR or yung sa Double Dragon. Their core assets are offices and retails and the income stability is medium. The growth potential is low to moderate but the risk level is around medium to high level. Para sa akin yung DDMPR or Double Dragon, para siyang dark horse. You can have a little bit of it in your portfolio and see if it will have more potential in the following years. But if you can just afford to buy 1 or 2 REITs, I would consider A-REIT and RCR. My last recommendation is to diversify towards other markets. That's why I would recommend investing in global funds. Most global funds or feeder funds invest in the stock market of other economies. So I consider it high risk and also a long-term investment. You can access global exposure or global funds through bank feeder funds. So tanungin mo yung banko mo or yung mutual fund supermarket or distributor na makita mo kung ano ba yung mga feeder funds nila. You can also invest in international equity funds and global ETFs that is offered through regulated platforms o yung mga foreign brokers. Currency moves will help some years and hurt in others kasi some feeder funds or some global funds will require you to invest in US dollar or other currencies. So affected ka sa Forex. And that is really normal. The goal is diversification, not guessing exchange rate. So wag mo na masyadong stress yung sarili mo kung tataas ba o bababa yung exchange rate ng peso to dollar. Ang importante, you are choosing a global fund that has historical long-term uptrend. Siyempre, bibigyan ko kayo ng mga specific na mga global funds that you can look into. So, these are 7 notable funds na hindi ko sinasabi na mag-invest ka kagad dyan. I would still recommend that you do your own research and see if they actually align with your financial goals. So, the first one, this is in alphabetical order by the way. So, the first one is ALFM Global Multi-Asset Income Fund. Number 2 is Atram Global Technology Feeder Fund. Number 3 is the BPI US Equity Index Feeder Fund. Number 4 is the Manulife Dragon Growth Equity Feeder Fund. Number 5 is the Manulife Global Multi-Asset Diversified Income Feeder Fund. Number 6 is the Metrodollar US Investment Grade Corporate Bond Feeder Fund. And lastly, the Sun Life Prosperity World Equity Index Feeder Fund, Inc. Before we end, I'd like to give you a little bit of portfolio allocation strategy. So you don't have to invest on all of these. You don't need 10, 20, 30 investments. A practical approach and a simple way to put this together is that, number one, you have to have your low-risk anchor. So 30% of your portfolio can be invested in MP2, bonds, or yung mga high-interest rate savings account. 40% of your portfolio, ilagay mo sa mga growth engines. So particularly, mga global funds and equities. And lastly, 30% ilagay nyo sa mga makakapagbigay sa inyo ng fixed income like REITs, dividend-paying stocks and funds, and even bonds. So for each of these, pwede kang pumili ng isa or dalawa. So sa low-risk anchor, pwede mo ilagay sa Pag-ibig MP2 at saka sa high-interest savings account. So dalawa lang na investment account yon, that's 30% of your portfolio. Growth engine, global funds, and equities. So pwede kang bumili ng isang stock at saka isang global fund. So that's 40% of your portfolio. And lastly, income, 30%, pwede kang bumili ng dalawang REITs. So that will be your portfolio. Probably this is your long-term all-weather portfolio already, but you need to rebalance it at least once a year. Ideally, twice a year, but kung once a year ka lang talaga makakapag-rebalance, okay lang yon. So to recap, what is your 2026 investment action plan? Number one, define your financial goals. Number two, choose investments that match your timeline. Number three, if possible, and I highly recommend it, automate your contributions or automate your investing. Number four, review your portfolio mid-year and or year-end. Remember that consistency beats complexity every time. Hindi mo kailangan magkaroon ng complicated na investing strategy, hindi mo kailangan magkaroon ng complicated na investment portfolio. Ang importante, consistent ka sa pag-i-invest. Creating an investment portfolio is not about squeezing out the highest return. It's about building something you can live with. The best portfolio is the one that aligns with your time horizon, reflects how you actually react to losses, and keeps you invested when markets get uncomfortable. If a drop in value makes you panic or stop contributing, your risk level is too high. That is not a flaw, it is feedback. Keep it simple. Adjust when life changes, not when headlines do. If your portfolio lets you sleep, stay consistent, and move forward quietly, it is doing its job. The best investment in 2026 is not the newest one. It is the one you can stick with. And that's the end of our video. I hope ay marami kayong natutunan. Please remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/readytoberichyt, and follow our Facebook page, facebook.com/readytoberich. And with that, goodbye, take care, see you sa next video natin, and always stay safe. Bye-bye!